for staying with us, and welcome back to My Carolina. I'm Amber Freeman.
And I'm Carly Braga. Thanks for hanging out with us on this Thursday. We are one day closer to Friday and the weekend, and with so many people working for the weekend, it makes me wonder, why do we do that? Is there a better way to soak in the now and live in the present?
Yes, please.
Surely, right?
Sign us up for that. Less stress, or at least a better way to manage all that stress going on in our lives and live in a happier, more stable, Zen
It may sound impossible to achieve, but I think there are ways that we can do that.
Yeah, well, we're going to ask for some help here because if never above that. We brought in the expert, Barron of Unity Holistic Wellness Center, here to help us out. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, welcome.
Oh, it's such a pleasure to be here and to be able to speak with your audience about exactly what you were talking about, holistic wellness, because that's a topic right now. With everything that's going on in our world, in our society, there's so much stress because of the constant changes. Right. It began, obviously, with the pandemic 2 years ago, but it just hasn't seemed to let up, has it? And there's just such a division, a sense of separation and division. And so we have the luxury and the ability to address that issue because we have a wonderful space. And what we've done is we have transformed that space into a center. We call it our Unity Holistic Wellness Center. And as soon as we began talking about what we were going to try to do with this center, what we found was there just became an excitement about the idea of offering workshops. People were, especially those in the community that do the workshops, they were very excited. That's kind of how it began. We drew people, doctors, professional, medical doctors who also now are really more focused on alternative integrative health care. They've become a part of our wellness center. And as we started reaching out into the community through social media aspects, what we've found is that there is so much desire for spiritual tools that can help in this time of stress and concern and everything else. And so we have a variety of workshops. That's how we began on Saturday mornings, offering a variety of workshops that address mind, body, and spirit.
So that's, Ellen, what I was going to ask you. We know you've brought together a really great team into one. There's that unity. Yes. What exactly is holistic wellness? How can we kind of, I know it's such a broad spectrum, but you're offering it all. And some people may look at that and be like, well, I don't know what that means. What wellness is, but what's all this holistic stuff?
Well, basically, we really are mind, body, and spirit. That's our composition. That's who we really are. Right. And often, especially here in our Western society, we have focused mostly on the mind and perhaps the body, but not necessarily in an integrative fashion. So that the mind, we're not really talking about just the brain. What we're really talking about are our emotions. We're emotional beings. So our emotions create our thoughts and our feelings, and this and all of the embedded belief system. So all of this reacts and responds to what's going on around us. And so if we look at some of these workshops that deal with self-awareness, self-empowerment, being able to recognize what emotions are coming up and then have different methods that we can do to tap into this and become comfortable with what is aware, what we are aware of. And the part of our body, the physical part, is when you have anxiety and stress, often it shows up like as a headache perhaps, or just, you can't sleep
a lot.
Has that ever happened? Like,
You've
got something happening in your life and you're feeling anxious and you can't sleep. And we know that when we don't sleep, we don't perform so well. Right. The spiritual part is, I think, the part of the equation that most people are unaware of or perhaps most uncomfortable looking at, and it's really simply the fact that we all have this innate intelligence. It's really discussed a lot now in quantum physics, so it's wonderful that science has kind of caught up to spirituality. And with this innate intelligence, what it really is talking about is simply that we have, each of us within us, everything that we need. We have strength. Just think about a situation where, let's say, a mother taps into this physical strength to rescue a child or somebody that she loves, that's above and beyond what you would even think a person could do. So we all have this inner ability. We all have these qualities. And so a lot of times what happens is when we're busy in our dealing with the outer world and all of the situations and what our mind is telling us, we don't really tap into this.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
You're going to help us with that, with these workshops.
Yes,
How can we find out more information about what exact workshops you're offering and how we can get in these classes?
Well, we have a great website, by the way, unityholisticwellnesscenter.org, and what we have are workshops that deal with basically those elements that include yoga. We have self-empowerment workshops. I did a whole series on the Enneagram, which I'm not sure if you're familiar with that.
I'm in 6.
Yes. I'm a 7.
It's good to know those things, though. They really enlighten you and kind of share things about yourself that you kind of know, but you're not really, sure about. But then these things really hone in on them and tell you things about yourself that you really didn't know.
Absolutely, and I like to think of the Enneagram as shadow work.
Yeah.
Because it's basically, when you say you're a 6 and I say I'm a 7, it's really this defensive mechanism that automatically comes up from childhood.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the more we start, this is self-awareness, right? The more we start to understand how we process everything,
exactly,
the more we're able to make changes, healthy changes in our lifestyle. I just want to mention a couple of new things, because come September, actually we're kind of working on that through this time, we're going to be introducing energy healing, which will include Reiki treatments. In our Holistic Wellness Center, we have a wonderful large room.
You have tons of stuff going on. I'm not going to interject because I want to tease to this, because I want us to get out there and actually go to it and see it at some point and show everybody. But in the meantime, your website again, so that we can get all that information and get in those workshops.
Sure.
There's so much. We could delve deep and have an entire show on this.
I do want to mention just a couple of things that are coming up, and we also have individual spiritual counseling that's coming up. We have a mindfulness series that will come up in September. Tai Chi. We have a sound bath once a month on Sundays, which is a variety of different singing bowls and a gong and meditation and yoga that ties in with that.
Very cool, Ellen. On your website?
It's all on our website.
All right, awesome. And your website again?
unityholisticwellnesscenter.org.
We would have an entire show with you, Ellen. We're not trying,
thank you so much.
We are so interested.
This just gives you a chance to check it out.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. Check that out. And of course, go see Ellen. We all need some of that help. We'll be right back.